The movie begins with Baron, an innocent young man, getting arrested while in possession of a large sum of money after a robbery. He's sent to a high-security prison and placed in the same cell as Otis, a seasoned criminal with a reputation for escaping prison. Desperate to escape, Baron pleads with Otis for help, explaining that he needs to meet his girlfriend at a secret location the next day. Otis, who is cautious by nature, is reluctant, but agrees after Baron offers him $250,000 as payment for a successful escape. Intrigued by how Baron came into possession of the money, Otis listens as Baron recounts his story. Baron used to work at a local post office, and with his wages, he bought medicine for his terminally ill mother, Ida. However, after losing his job due to refusing to cut his hair, Baron learns that the price of his mother's medication has gone up. Despite the situation, he reassures his mother, telling her not to worry, as he will handle everything. Unable to find new employment, Baron wanders into a park, where he encounters a woman with pink hair named Marmalade. At first, Marmalade leaves, but later returns to find Baron venting his frustrations by hitting a swing with a branch. She playfully teases him, and they introduce themselves. They begin spending time together, with Baron showing Marmalade various local spots. Marmalade reveals that she grew up in foster care, while Baron shares his struggles with his mother's illness and the fact that he never knew his father. The high cost of the medication becomes a frequent topic, and Marmalade suggests that if the system isn't working in his favor, he should make his own rules. The two grow closer, and Marmalade eventually spends the night at Baron's house. Without a steady income, they start brainstorming ways to pay for Ida's medicine. Baron suggests renting out rooms, but Marmalade shocks him by proposing that they rob a bank. Although initially hesitant, Baron eventually agrees, feeling like he has no other choice. They begin planning, scouting out potential targets, and practicing how to carry out the robbery. As their bond grows, they decide to get matching tattoos. Marmalade gets a heart with Baron's name inside it, while Baron plans to get Marmalade's name on a jar. However, a mistake in the tattoo forces him to change it to Mama, in honor of his mother. Soon after, Baron notices some of his mother's medication is missing, and when he questions Marmalade, she avoids the topic. They continue preparing for the robbery by purchasing supplies and breaking into a wooden shed to use as their hideout. Baron, curious about Marmalade's past, asks her to share more about her mother. Hesitant at first, Marmalade opens up about her traumatic childhood, explaining how her foster father abused her and the other foster kids, and how her biological mother failed to protect her from the situation. Baron, deeply moved, promises to always protect her, calling himself her knight in shining armor. As their plan progresses, they go to buy masks for the heist. Marmalade picks out 2 expensive masks, but when Baron reminds her they can't afford them, she attempts to rob the store. However, when she's unable to open the safe, she knocks out the cashier, and they flee. Baron feels guilty about the incident, suggesting they find a different way to make money, but Marmalade convinces him that one big heist is all they need. Later that night, they hear Ida coughing, and Marmalade goes to check on her. Moments later, she runs out in a panic, screaming. Baron rushes into the room to find his mother has died. Marmalade insists she doesn't know what happened, saying she had only stepped out of the room for a moment. In prison, Otis offers Baron some comfort, sharing that his own mother has been sick for most of his life, and he doesn't even know if she's still alive. Baron asks why Otis hasn't visited her, and Otis explains that their relationship is strained and that she lives in Kingston, Jamaica. Later, during lunch in the prison dining hall, other inmates begin bullying Baron. When one of them tries to attack him, Otis steps in, sparking a prison riot. It is then revealed that Otis is not actually an inmate, but an undercover FBI agent tasked with capturing Marmalade, a notorious serial bank robber. Otis was assigned as Baron's cellmate to gather information about her. The FBI plans to fake an escape, hoping that Baron will lead them directly to Marmalade. They even trace Baron's phone calls, hoping to get a lead on her whereabouts. Back in the cell, Otis encourages Baron to continue telling his story. Baron explains that after his mother's death, he tried to get his old job back at the post office, but Marmalade, now pregnant, urged him to proceed with the robbery to secure their future. The night before the heist, they prayed for success. Baron was only supposed to be the getaway driver, while Marmalade, wearing her signature all-pink outfit and a mask with 3 faces, went inside to rob the bank. Although Baron felt anxious, Marmalade reassured him and carried out the robbery while he waited outside in the car. After the heist, they fled to a cabin, where Marmalade celebrated, throwing the stolen money around. Baron, however, began to worry they had taken too much and questioned Marmalade's experience with bank robberies. Hesitantly, Marmalade admitted that she had pulled off several bank heists before, but for much smaller amounts. Marmalade had planned to stop robbing banks before she met Baron, but decided to do one last job with him. Although this revelation upset Baron, they reconciled, reminding each other they had to think of their unborn child now. Later, Marmalade asked Baron to retrieve the masks from the car so they could burn them. While doing this, Baron found a bottle of his mother's pills hidden inside the car. Furious, he confronted Marmalade with a gun, demanding to know why she had kept the pills. Marmalade begged for forgiveness, explaining that she had saved them for emergencies and forgotten they were still in the car. At that moment, the police surrounded their cabin, ordering them to surrender. Baron, torn, suggested they give up and apologize, but Marmalade proposed they split the money and meet later at their favorite spot. Baron agreed, and Marmalade took half the money and left, while Baron turned himself in to the police. Back in prison, Otis promised to help Baron escape, as long as Baron told him where Marmalade was planning to meet him. Baron refused to reveal the location, but assured Otis that he would still pay him the promised $250,000. The next day, Otis, disguised as a laundry worker, hid Baron in a laundry basket and tried to sneak him out. Unfortunately, a guard not in on the plan stopped them. Otis quickly handed Baron a car key and pushed him outside before getting detained. However, FBI agents released Otis soon after. Baron successfully escaped, with the FBI tailing him closely. He first went to a florist to buy flowers, seemingly for his mother's grave, and then stopped at an ice cream shop, a favorite hangout spot of his and Marmalade's. After leaving the shop, the FBI followed him until he pulled over, but when they approached the car, they discovered the driver was actually an ice cream shop employee. The employee explained that Baron had given him the car in exchange for driving it around town. At this point, Otis realized Baron had tricked them. He immediately ordered a manhunt for both Baron and Marmalade. Meanwhile, Baron had switched vehicles, driving a yellow car to the cabin, where he discovered bags of money hidden in the chimney. Newspaper clippings were also there, showing that Baron had known all along Otis was an undercover agent. Otis, rushing to the grave Baron had visited earlier, found that it wasn't Ida's grave. Instead of flowers, there was a jar of marmalade labeled Mama, matching Baron's tattoo. Otis then reviewed the bank's CCTV footage and realized that Baron, who seemed clueless, was actually the mastermind. The footage confirmed that the person wearing the tattoo was Baron himself. In a shocking twist, it's revealed that Marmalade never existed. Baron had been disguising himself as her the entire time. Baron, determined to escape, cuts his hair and dresses in drag, passing through a police checkpoint undetected. Once out of town, Baron visits a pharmaceutical store, identifying himself as Mr. Lamram, to pick up a large order of medication for Ida Lamram, which, when reversed, spells Marmalade. Simultaneously, Otis and his team track a call from Baron to a pharmaceutical company. There, they meet the CEO, Don Frankel, who reveals that the stolen money belonged to him and is furious that the robber remains at large. Otis grows suspicious of Frankel and soon confirms that he is the abusive foster father from Baron's story. Upon further investigation, the FBI finds evidence of child abuse, including cages used to confine the children, and Frankel is arrested. Later, Otis finds a moon pie hidden in his car's side mirror, a clear signal that Baron had been nearby. Baron, now moving freely, enters a nearby store. The pharmacist there informs Otis that Baron had bought all the available pleonexia, a type of medication, and then visited a travel agency. At the agency, Otis finds an envelope addressed to him. Inside is a note from Baron that reads, "Life can only be understood backward, but it must be lived forwards. I'm taking care of my mother. I hope you'll do the same. Farewell, secret agent." Along with the note are 2 first-class tickets to Jamaica, intended for Otis to visit his estranged mother. The next day, Baron arrives at a nursing home and enters the building. He hands out free medication to the residents before reaching his mother, Ida's room. There, he refills her medicine and sits beside her. The film ends with the two of them looking out the window together, sharing a peaceful moment while eating moon pies. If you've watched the video this far, I just want to say I'm grateful for having viewers like you. Thank you for watching until the end. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more updates. This is Home of Movies. See you next time.